Hey everybody, welcome back to Bullet Sponge Brews. My name is Wilson, and today we've got a pretty interesting video going. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be racking our blueberry pomegranate mead into secondary. What that means is we're going to be taking the mead off from the fruit and off to all the lees at the bottom. Now, if you do remember, lees is all the dead yeast and stuff that sits at the bottom. We don't want that in our mead. We're going to be moving it into secondary, and then we're going to top it off with some more pomegranate juice, just so we can eliminate some of that headspace in there. We don't want too much oxygen to get in there. Now, because we're going to be adding more fermentable sugars to this via the pomegranate juice, we are going to be keeping an airlock on it. That way we don't run any kind of risk of bottle bombs. We don't want it to explode, especially after all this hard work that we've put into it. And before we add the pomegranate juice, we're going to take a gravity reading, figure out where it's at, get an ABV, and then obviously with us adding this is going to dilute it, so we'll kind of see where it goes from there. So I've got everything in front of me. Once again, everything has 100% been sanitized. Just want to harp on that again. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing that, but I'm going to keep saying it. We got everything sanitized, and we got some new stuff that we're breaking out today, i.e. our auto siphon. Now what this allows us to do is we're going to put our secondary vessel at a lower level than our primary vessel. We're going to pump this a couple times, and what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to siphon all of the mead out of here and into there, kind of like you would if you were a tweaker and you needed gas for your lawnmower or something. You guys that live in Joplin, you know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and get this started. Like I said, we need to put this at a lower level than what our mead is. The lower you put it, the faster it's going to drain. I don't want it to drain too quickly, so I'm going to go and try and find something real quick. We'll get it at a lower level, and then I'll be right back.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
And I'm back. So I've got a little table here off to my side. I don't know if you can see it or not. We've got our secondary vessel sitting on there. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Ugh. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pop the top on this. And once again, I don't know how well you can see it. You guys can probably see it pretty well. We have lost so much color in these blueberries, which is what we want. It's allowing all those juices and sugars and everything to leach down into our mead, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to pull this towards me. Now, when you're doing this, you want to take the end of your tubing, and you actually want to stick that as far down into your carboy or your secondary vessel as you can. Once again, it's going to help eliminate any kind of risk of oxidation. And then we're going to go ahead and put this in there. We're going to stick it just past the fruit cap, about halfway down. And like I said, we're going to give it a couple pumps. And it is flowing. Now, with the auto siphons, there's an end cap that you put on it. I've got the end cap put on it right now because that is going to allow us to not pick up as much lees. Like I said, we don't want that in there. It could create off flavors, and it's not going to make it look too pretty. And because of how dark this is, I actually really can't see where I'm at. Just going to go ahead and tilt it just a little bit. That way we can get more of the mead. Now, when you do it like this, there is going to be some amount of loss, but we're going to try to make that as little as possible. We want as much of this mead to get in there as possible. It does look like we are picking up some solids, which it'll be fine. And it looks like we didn't make anywhere near a gallon with this. All right, looks like really all we're getting now is lees. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just put that back in there. All right. Yeah, so it doesn't look like maybe these vessels just weren't as big as they were advertised. Maybe the fruit cap was just too big. Come on, get in there. But go ahead and put that off to the side. And now I have to go re-sanitize that. Ugh. All right, if you give me just a minute, I'll be right back.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, y'all, and I'm back. So I got the funnel re-sanitized. Like I said, this produced a lot less than a gallon. So what we are actually left with is that much. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I am a beginner at this, so I'm just trying to currently figure some things out, figure out what I'm doing. So mistakes are going to be made. I don't know if this is typical, but we'll see in the future if we do any more fruit meads, what kind of end results we're left with, which makes me glad that I have kept pomegranate juice on hand. Like I did say, we are going to do a final gravity reading on this. Well, it's probably not going to be final because we're going to be adding more sugars to this, and it's probably going to start fermenting again. But I'm going to go ahead and get some of our mead in here. It's taking a while because I got to really get down in there. All right, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to get some more in there just because I can't twirl it. All right. And we are currently sitting at, give it a couple spins. 1.014. Full. So this actually fermented quite a bit of the sugars out. So we're gonna go ahead and put that back in there. And it's a lot better to see this now that there's no fruit or really any of that stuff sticking on top. So hopefully I've got enough to fill this back up to a gallon. Once again, I did re-sanitize this. And we're just going to give that a little bit of a shake. And we're just going to go ahead and add this back into it. Give this one a shake. And get this one in there too. And like I said, we are adding this to minimize headspace. We don't want half a gallon of air sitting above that because that could really, really screw up what we've got going on. And it looks like we've got just over a gallon. So, and I got it all over my notepad. I want to take a gravity reading of where it's sitting at right now after we have diluted it and also added more sugars into it. Now, what this could potentially do is drive this below what the ABV threshold of the Lalvin EC 1118 and we could once again kickstart fermentation again, which is why we're going to be putting an airlock on it. So, like I said, we don't want to run the risk of completely destroying this batch after we have put in all of this hard work. All right, and so this has actually brought this back up to 1.036. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this poured back in here. We'll get this sealed back up. I'm going to step away from the camera real quick, do some quick math, and I will be back with the results shortly. So, give me just a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
A lot of boring math later.
And I'm back. So we've done the calculations. With a starting gravity of 1.152, this mead, before we diluted it with more pomegranate juice, dropped down to 1.014, which leaves us with an ABV of 18.63%. Now, we did dilute this, and we did add more pomegranate juice to kind of bring it back up to a gallon. And after the dilution, that left us with a gravity of 1.036, which gives us a semi end ABV of 15.66. Now, I do say semi end or semi final because this could still, once again, kick off and start fermenting again because we have brought it below what the yeast's ABV tolerance is. We're going to go ahead and just let it kind of do its own thing. We'll see where it goes from here. Now, also, as you can see, I have a hair tie up here. The bung on these is too big, so it won't actually sit down in there. It won't create a good seal. So I'm leaving the hair tie on there to keep the airlock down. That way we don't get any funky garbage or gunk or any of that crap in there. The next time you guys see this mead, which it's probably going to be a little while for that, is when we go to stabilize it. Now we are going to taste test it once it's we have let it aged out a little bit. We're also going to kind of let anything that might still be in suspension fall out of there. But the next time you see it, we will be stabilizing it. We'll taste test it then. As I said in I think the very first video I did for this, I want a sweet mead. I want a sweet blueberry pomegranate mead for this. So we're going to go ahead and taste test it. If it's not where I want it or it's not sitting where I want it, because we have stabilized it, I'm going to be able to go back and back sweeten it with some more honey and not worry about fermentation just going rampant again. So next time you see this, we'll stabilize it, we'll test it, and we'll probably back sweeten it, and hopefully we'll be able to bottle it at that point. Once again, I just want to give you guys a huge thank you. My YouTube is currently sitting at 66 subscribers. I don't know every single one of you, but you guys are the real MVP. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you guys are joining me in my adventures of mead making. Like I said, I am a beginner at this. I am not a professional. And so you guys are going to see all of my screw-ups, all of my successes, and I can't thank all of you enough for wanting to go on this adventure with me. My TikTok is currently over 100 followers. Once again, I do some mead content on there, but I do funny videos as well. And those of you that are on my TikTok, thank you very much. You guys are really helping to kind of push me forward to keep doing this. I don't expect to get rich off this. I'm not trying to be YouTube famous or anything like that. I just want to share what I'm doing with the world. There are a lot of people out there that are far better at this. They know far more. And for all I know, you guys could be tuned in with them too. But just to have you guys here with me on my adventure doing this, I can't tell you once again how much I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys will stick with me as my channel grows. Hopefully my channel does grow. But even if it doesn't, I'm going to still be here making mead. This is Bullet Sponge Brews. My name is Wilson, and this has been the Blueberry Pomegranate Mead. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.